We are so close to the release of Godzilla vs. Kong, so I've decided to take a dive through the Monsterverse up to this point where we get the big clash. And the last movie I've got a review of those three is Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Welcome to Silver Screen Talk. My name is Luke LaPointe. I started this channel because movies are a big part of my life and I want to talk about them with people who care about them as much as I do. With that, remember to hit that like and subscribe button. And most importantly, as we are talking about movies, I want to hear you down below in that comment section. Have you seen Godzilla, the King of the Monsters, especially leading up to Godzilla vs. Kong? What have you thought about it? Where do you think it ranks in your Monsterverse ranking? I will be dropping that after the Godzilla vs. Kong release. I just want to hear you all down below, and now let's get into it. So any staple of a good monster movie is the action. That's what you go to a monster movie to see. You go to watch, turn your brains off, and watch big things fight each other. And the action is nailed perfectly in this movie, especially compared to the first Godzilla, which had some criticisms of it being a little too dark and there's not enough monster action on screen. They showcase it in this movie. While it's a longer movie, they showcase it. There's a lot more monster action in this movie, and it's done so much better. And I like that they bring in Ghidorah and Rodan so that the monster action is a little bit more creative based off the abilities of those monsters. They're a lot more powerful and better match for Godzilla than the Mythos were. They just have a little bit more of a skill set that, especially we know going into this movie. And I think that it added a lot to the fight scenes. I think the cinematography was done really well. Something they established kind of in Kong Skull Island and rolled with are these wide shots. You're not getting close-up action of the monsters throwing a punch or something. No. You're getting a wide shot, establishing shot of the whole thing. And you get to see it basically from a spectator's point of view. Boom! Boom! That's what you get to see, and I think it adds a lot that we get to see all the action. In addition, the visual effects are so much better. Everything, especially in fight scenes, are so much better lit than Godzilla, especially in Boston, which was the big fight scene between Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, and Godzilla. The lighting was so much better. You could see a lot more than you could in Godzilla, which was clouded by smoke and just darkness. This was a lot lighter, and I think this will be a lot brighter in Godzilla vs. Kong based off the trailers. I mean, Mothra too. I love Mothra. I love that they included Mothra. I think Mothra had a great role in this movie. I think Mothra had a great role in this final fight. She did everything, and it's a shame that they had to kill her in this movie. I would have loved to see her in Godzilla vs. Kong. I would have loved to see her play a role in Godzilla vs. Kong, but it was great to see her in this movie. And you dove into the mythos even more of Godzilla, especially where he comes from, and this ancient battle he's had, and I think it establishes a lot going into Godzilla vs. Kong. They established one of the mythos in Godzilla. They established it a lot more in Godzilla vs. Kong, and I think that's going to play a big factor into us understanding kind of the fight between Godzilla vs. Kong, not the other human shit, but the fight between Godzilla vs. Kong once that movie gets released. Like I said, you get way more Godzilla screen time. Way more. He did not have a lot in Godzilla. While this is a longer movie, we do get a lot of human stuff. There's way more Godzilla screen time, and there's way more Godzilla fighting time. And I think that's what we all come to see. And it was great to see more of that in this movie. You had a great score from Bear McCreary. I love Bear McCreary. I remember I found out who he was while watching the TV show Black Sails on Stars. And he just kills it. He kills it every time. I absolutely love his score. It added so much to the movie, and I had so much fun watching the movie, but also listening to the score and pairing those two, and it added a lot to the action. You did have some good performances. I think Charles Dance, Millie Bobby Brown were good. And then I think you had a really good performance from Ken Watanabe. I love Ken Watanabe. I think he was the most crucial part of the human aspect of both movies, and it was sad to see him go, but I really did enjoy him. And then you got Fenway Park in this movie. I'll never say no to Fenway Park. That's just a good thing for me. I'm a Sox fan. Anyway, like I said, there were a lot of complaints about this movie, and a lot of them revolved around the human side of this movie. And Like I said, it's a little hypocritical, but like, I think there were some good performances, but I don't go to these movies to see the human plot where humans are using titans to control the world population. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to just see the humans move the plot forward a little bit and then monsters fight each other. I don't want to see this whole emotional thing that has no weight to the actual movie. They did a little better in Godzilla because it made sense. In this movie, it doesn't make sense. They had a whole forced storyline, I think, between this family, Vera Farmiga, Kyle Chandler, and Millie Bobby Brown, and it jumps all over the place. It's unevenly paced, and it forces some things into the story to try to get monsters involved. While I love that those monsters were involved, it kind of forces them in. And a lot of the characters, just very thin characters with no arc or forced arcs, especially Vera Farmiga's character. I try to turn my brain off, but for this one, especially, it was just so blatant because they were on there for so long. If they were just there to serve the purpose of moving the plot forward, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. But because they have their own plot, it becomes an issue. So while I love the action and all of that, the fact that I have to spend a lot of time with these humans and they have their own plot, not the greatest of things. However, I do enjoy this movie beyond the fact that it's just not a great story. And before I get into my score, if you like this and want to see more of my reviews, click up above to be taken to that playlist. And I also have a whole Monsterverse playlist. Click up above to be taken to that. And now let's get to the score. This is, as a thinking as a critic with my brain score, this is probably the worst Monsterverse movie. But you have to weigh action versus story and what you're going to the theater for. I think they nailed the action. The story left a lot to be desired. So for my brain score, I'm giving it a 68%. Now, for my heart score, this movie did a lot for me. I saw a lot of cool fights. I saw a lot of cool monsters. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, this was probably the action before Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. This is the action that I enjoyed the most. So for my heart score, I'm giving it an 84%. 68% on the brain score, 84% on the heart score, and that's a review. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I want to hear you down below in that comment section. I know you all know how to comment, and my comment sections have been a little bare as of late, so I want to see y'all down below. Show a little support, show a little love. Thank you so much, and keep on loving movies as much as I do.